If you thought the Noah Presgrove case couldn't heat up anymore, well, you're wrong, because it has done, and I'm going to present that to you today, involving some key named individuals from Justin Roy to Robyn Smith, supposedly the aunt of Noah Presgrove, to even Brooke Bounds Carter. There's been some heavy discussions in the comment section on my videos, which is good to see because it's activity within the case and people can learn as they go along, but we need to maintain just a little bit of order so it doesn't get too out of hand. But the main theme of today is looking at what Robyn Smith believed the case to be, the outcome for Noah at one point compared to afterwards, because there is a big switch up and maybe people aren't familiar with it or have forgotten, and some may have never seen before. It's okay, Brooke Bounds Carter stating Noah's family doesn't believe it's a murder, but when we did look at it, it was only from what Robyn had to say, a singular family member who doesn't represent the whole family. Nevertheless, there was a change with time. I don't know if Brooke is aware of that, or she might be, but I'm going to be sharing it to you today, the audience. Be sure to stick around. You don't want to miss anything in today's video and discussions. And as well, Robyn Smith, supposedly, speaking about the Netflix documentary or series about what it's going to be about based off what Brooke has said at some point. So there's a range of stuff going on. I was going to do another video, but I've got to push that back because this is new, this is fresh, this is active. We need to try and maintain the focus at this moment in time and see what happens next. So welcome to those currently watching this live premiere. Share your thoughts, reactions in the live chat box on the right hand side of the screen. And by the end of this video, be sure to drop a comment down below sharing your thoughts, opinions, and if you've got any questions, and I can respond back to them later. Down below, there'll be a pinned message with additional links if you do want to support this channel, alternative links to do that. Big shout out to Peace in Christ, I think that's their name with the green profile picture, for big support on this channel just recently. Very good to see. And for anyone who's missed out on previous videos, top right corner, click up there and you'll find the full playlist of the Noah Presgrove case and the video that I did last night, as well as the video that I did earlier today about the Kenny Veach case and supposed footage caught on camera which shows Kenny Veach alive, me weighing in on it and sharing my thoughts. You don't want to miss any of that. Be sure to catch up when you do have time. With that all being said, we need to focus into today's discussion. Give a brief backstory as to how this has all come about, first of all. Basically, what happens is I do videos about focused subjects and topics, and especially at a time of where other people may not be too preoccupied with other conflict and drama, or maybe to a smaller extent, after the video has been done, then it triggers a wave of discussions on the channel or further afar, and I've noticed that with time now. But that's what happens when Warlike Raph thinks outside of the box and does his own thing and mostly keeps one's head down. So I've done that because previously there was a sign for that to take place. It was needed, it was necessary, so that's what I've been doing ever since. And new ideas have come about with time, and I've actually had to make some more notes down for video ideas. There will be more videos to come on the Noah Presgrove case. Breaking all this down is very important. I mean, just a side reference, it's not just one person, it can be a couple over time. People that question me and say, why are you covering this or that? This is old news. That's been talked about so many times in the past. Why do we need to go over it all over again? Because Warlike Raph looks at it in ways other people don't, okay? I can hold a pair of spiky balls in my hand and I tell a stronger story with that than other people could. Okay, and they've been used in demonstrations as well for previous reference and context, all under control. Be sure to check it out if you want to. And there'll be other items along the way, even just a photo, as I've demonstrated before, the Jasmine Milan Snapchat 3:41 a.m. timestamp September 4th, 2023, in which when I was looking at that, I picked up on all kinds of little details and possibilities throughout. So yeah, to refer back to looking at some points with time and future videos for future reference, is that I can question stuff and pick up on things other people didn't beforehand. And even like with Jan's post recently on Facebook, it might have been misunderstood or people going all in on one end. I was looking at it as a whole, the theme of alcohol just in general. and how it could link to the party, or how it could just link within the area, how it can link to consequences afterwards. People who've got responsibilities, but also with alcohol at the same time, consuming or distributing, can it impact other people's lives around them and whatnot? So it's all fine here. I get the idea, the concept. Maybe some people down the line don't, and that's why they question me or try and throw it back, but just not going to work, piss pots, okay? So let's just focus back in at what's hand. The context is last night's video that I did was the possibilities of a Netflix documentary or series, could be a docu-series. I was weighing in the ins and outs of it. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? And what Jan had to say too, interpreting that. And then from the comment section, you'll see it later. All kinds of key named individuals have spoken up, and some which I've not seen before. So you never know. It could be people that have been lurking in the background in the past who have now come out the woodworks, whatever. There's a time and place for everyone to share their thoughts and whatnot. So I can always look back over it, check things I've never seen before, question, answer, and do what I can. And it might help you as well, those who are watching and those in the background. Shout out to everyone who's present right now. So what we need to start off first is I'm going to show you some screenshots, important ones. The first screenshot is a reference to a previous post. I think it was to do with Brooke Bounce-Carter responding to Amy or Zemper Tuesday on the case discussion page. I saw that Amy has given credit and said that intellectual people hate me. That channel has done a very good job on the case. Yeah, because making lots of false claims about Warlight Ref and obsessing about me, attacking me, making false claims is really good work, isn't it, on the case? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, do I have 20/20 vision or do I have 20, 16, 69, 80, 1,000 vision? I don't know. But just as a reference to do with Brooke having issues with Amy at some point, maybe weeks ago, and I got a screenshot of this, which links on with the theme of today. First of all, Brooke stating, guess Noah's family as a whole, along with the LE, also known as law enforcement, don't believe it was a murder. Is that really true? The context of the post, you can see a screenshot there. We'll zoom in. This is what it looks like. Hopefully you can read it. If not, I'll read it out to you. No date has been provided. This could be a very, very old post in 2023, or it could be at some point in 2024. Who knows? Robyn Smith, the aunt of Noah Presgrove, one singular family member, says to Brooke, you're right. I don't believe that this was a vicious murder. To think that any of Noah's friends would do that is unimaginable. What I do not appreciate is the lack of cooperation and the lying that has been going on. Regardless of what happened, it makes people seem suspicious, as if they know the whole story and are trying to cover it up. Evidence shows that Noah Presgrove was not alone when this happened. When this happened, what? When he died. And yet no one will tell us what exactly happened. And Brooke says, okay, so we definitely agree on it not being a murder. So if there is evidence that he wasn't alone, maybe there was another kid there from the party. Oh, what a Texas boy. A stranger. Someone who's gone underneath the radar, but isn't a Milan family member, nor a Newton family member, or a Howard family member. Just some other stray kid that was there. I said no context as to the date of when this happened, because unfortunately the context or evidence provided by Brooke is often limited because it doesn't show the full screenshot, right, or the actual date of the original post and the comment thread. So I'm just working with what we got here at least. But it's interesting, Robyn Smith stating that, don't believe it was murder. Does Robyn say it was an accident? Not exactly. Just that Noah's friends couldn't have done that to him. Not possible. That's what Robyn believes. But in terms of people not cooperating and lying, that has not helped the situation. So is Robyn referring to who exactly? Jack or strangers or everyone as a whole because of the inconsistencies with stories? That's interesting. The most important part, though, to say that evidence shows that Noah was not alone when he died or in the process of dying. What the hell does that mean? What the hell is that evidence? Sounds very, very interesting. So, does that evidence show a certain somebody near to Noah when he died? Or just the location of where it actually happened, meaning he was around people, such as on site of the party house property, the land? We've never really been able to clear that up. Now, with Robyn Smith, the supposed real one, commenting on last night's video, if they're watching this right now, feel free to leave a comment to explain, if you can, and if it's possible, in regards to what evidence shows that Noah wasn't alone when he died. What does that mean exactly? If it's not murder and none of the friends could have killed Noah, but they were present when he died, what does that mean then? Because Robyn doesn't word it as it's an accident, she just says it wasn't murder. So that must mean it is an accident then. Or could it be anything else? Anything in between? I wonder. But the reason why this is a problem, whilst it kind of backs up with what Brooke is getting at here as a reference, it's a bit reckless to say the whole family agrees that it wasn't murder when you're only referring to Robyn Smith, who is one singular family member. So it doesn't represent everyone, does it? That's the first mistake that Brooke made to an extent. Unless there are other screenshots of other family members saying the same thing, then fair enough, but I've not seen that yet. However, what the change is, depending on when, one thing happened over the other, if we go to this one, this is completely different. Robyn Smith, same individual, October the 3rd, 2023. This is really early on, fresh. And she says, let's get one thing straight. This was not an accident. This was murder. This was not a hit and run. This was not an ATV wreck. This was pure cold-blooded murder. We've heard so many different stories, but we have yet to hear the truth, the whole truth, which we deserve. I know it's scary, I know it's hard, but we deserve to know what happened. Noah deserves to have his story told. We will not stop searching and asking. We'll not stop demanding. It will come out. And then down below, it showed a photo of Noah, and I think it tagged Zachary Wright, member of the LE. We've heard him mentioned a few times as well. Isn't that very interesting? Robyn Smith, extremely confident that it was cold-blooded murder. And that was posted October 3rd, 2023. But then either later on, with time, I'm wording it like that because there seems to be a change up with this. I can't remember when pages were set up, the army one, the case discussion one. I don't even know when the justice page was created. It just depends where Robyn Smith posted this and where she commented on this other post. All on the same page or what? But I'm guessing, in my opinion, this was one of the earliest responses, what Robyn believed herself. And maybe with time, she ended up changing her mind. But why would her mind change when from day one there was supposedly lack of communication and she was already suspicious of people? And here, if this is a later post, she says that the lack of cooperation and the lying. Why through that lying and lack of cooperation would you suddenly think, well, you know what? Because these friends, that I feel it's unimaginable that any of them would be responsible for killing Noah, but they are also lying and they're not being cooperative, so they are suspicious. But even though I did say that it was cold-blooded murder originally, now I don't think it was at all. No, but they're still lying, but no, not murder. People can change up with time. Got to take in consideration that emotions can be very raw early on. Reasoning ability can be very limited as well early on, especially if you're tied in with the case, emotional connection, bit of conflict of interest. What do you believe? Where do you go? How are you supposed to feel? Are you going to know the whole story early on? No, but with time, as the supposed truth comes out or claims or statements from various people, it might shape your mind or perspective on the case. At first you might think it's murder, then later you may think it's not, and vice versa. But you can clearly see it's never been 100% consistent, going from Robyn Smith saying, I don't believe it was a vicious murder, and then previously, if it's in that order, saying this was not an accident, this was murder. No hit and run, no ATV side-by-side rollover being responsible, it's just pure cold-blooded murder. For Robyn Smith to say here, we've heard so many different stories but yet to hear the truth. What's mentioned here, even if this post is a lot earlier compared to this one, the fact that she's remained consistent with saying and stating so many stories but no real truth to what she says here, I do not appreciate the lack of cooperation and the lying that's been going on. So the lying and lack of cooperation has been consistent throughout. So that factor has remained the same, a key problem. So what other key factor or turning point that has persuaded, convinced Robyn to change her mind from cold-blooded murder to it can't be a vicious murder? It can't be. Now, if you wanted to be very awkward with language and wording, I'm going to zoom in right now. Probably should have done before. Hopefully it's clear enough. The fact that Robyn Smith says it's not a vicious murder, but she doesn't mention it's an accident, that's interesting. To say a vicious murder sounds specific. Robyn isn't simply saying, I don't believe it was murder. She feels it wasn't a vicious murder. So does that mean it could have been murder, but not as vicious as what you thought, not as cold-blooded? You know, when you want to be awkward with the language and wording, you could interpret it that way too. Of course, if the right people are present right now, such as Robyn, you can let me know your thoughts if you want. Did your opinion, your mindset change with time? Because clearly, as we see on screen, it has switched up with time. The only consistent thing is pointing out the observation of lies and lack of cooperation. Even though from the other side, whether that be Brooke Bounds Carter, I think it could have been, or another adult, parent or family member, friend, have ended up saying, you know, the girls, the partygoers have all cooperated perfectly with police. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But how some have presented themselves publicly on social media, it could have come across a bit reckless, not the same representation. So it makes it harder to believe that they have cooperated in the background when it may not follow up the same as on the surface level. So that's the first change. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. If we move on to this one, just last night, Brooke Bounds Carter said, I don't threaten anyone. Does that mean any time or just recent? I mean what I say. That's interesting language and wording. You don't make threats, but whatever you say, you mean it. If that's so, let's refer back to this. It has been cleared up previously, and Brooke Bounds Carter did respond to it. But we'll go over it once again. Because while she has gone over this and cleared it up, with what she said now, it's kind of undone everything, depending how you interpret it. So we'll just read this out. Brooke Bounds Carter says, you don't think she doesn't have as much to lose? Let's take a step back. What if the kids of hers are close to her truly didn't have anything to do with it? Y'all are dragging them through the fire. I think Stevie Howard, the mother to Avery Carter, is handling it a hell of a lot better than I would. She has lost a child. You think her heart doesn't break for Noah? He was extremely close with them. She wouldn't wish that on anyone. So Stevie wouldn't wish death on anyone, but if there was involved in a death, then Stevie and whoever would make sure to do a good job in disposing of the body so no one would find them. Yeah, anyway. She wants this case solved as much as the family of Noah's does. There is a hell of a lot more information on this case, and the family that isn't being said out of respect for the family, I would back off. You push a mama bear so far into a corner and she won't have anything to do but start swinging back. And when I say she has stuff that I assure you Noah's family doesn't want to come out, I would just keep my mouth shut. So, Brooke is almost like using a specific threat as a messenger on behalf of what Stevie Howard is capable of. So, to try and balance it out, if Brooke says, I don't threaten, but I do mean what I say, you could argue and word it as in, Brooke Bounds Carter is stating that this is what will happen if you push somebody else, because I know that's somebody else and what they can be like. So you keep pushing them, they will snap and they will fight back and reveal things you don't want to hear or see because it might impact you too. I'm not the one issuing the threats. I'm just stating what I mean because I know it. Do you see? Trying to get that balance in. Previously, I was interpreting this post as Brooke specifically issuing the threat, but she isn't the one claiming to be the one to deliver that final blow or that sharp strike or that piercing effect. Brooke is almost acting like a messenger. Okay? So, very interesting. I mean, at least how Brooke responded in the past to this after my video was, oh, well, I didn't really mean what I said. I shouldn't have said it. I apologised to the family of Noah and it was all resolved. And, you know, it happened a long time ago, so it's not really that relevant. Sounds like trying to downplay it a little bit. So, whilst I've been lenient this time round, when I think about it at the time, Brooke apologising to the family with saying this, and it wasn't truly meant. If it wasn't truly meant, why be so specific with a certain threat or an outcome, as in being more so a messenger, not the deliverer of the final blow? Why would Brooke Bounds Carter at the end of the day have to apologise for this post when she isn't the one directly doing the threats, but passing on a threatening message from what someone else is capable of? When you start apologising, it shows that you're in the wrong, that you've done something wrong, or you feel like you have done, and you shouldn't have done it or said it. So then you can have time back that responsibility back to yourself. Kind of like undoing it. You mean what you say, but back then you apologise for saying it. Why should you apologise for saying it to whoever when you mean what you say and you stick to your words? It's kind of going backwards a little bit. So that was a little bit of inconsistency I just wanted to throw back in there. Now, we do need to move on to the comment section of my video where we look closer at what Robyn Smith has had to say about the Netflix documentary, the responses by Justin Roy, Brooke, and whoever else. Let's head on over. Here we are. I'm just going to adjust it. We're going to start from the bottom, work our way up, climb up the ladder. You can see longer this time around. We've got Sherry, welcome. Welcome to this video if you're currently here. Trisha, hi everyone, Texas here. Hope everyone having a good day. Thanks Warlight Raph for keeping Noah's case alive. You're welcome. Hi Trisha, do you know any of the so-called Texas boys? No, I don't, the Texas boys, but in my opinion, they just keep pointing to them to keep the attention off the real murders. I think at the end of the day, and maybe I do it as another standalone video, who's innocent, who's guilty or in a grey area. We need to create some kind of pool. We'll get to that later. Billy. Good. Hopefully the truth comes out and the murders will come to justice, and also the trashy people covering up the murder. We got Robyn Willard. Is that Willard or Willard? I end up saying my name almost the way American people pronounce my last name. Hey, Warlight Raph. Welcome to the channel, Robyn. Just take in mind for anyone that does get confused, this Robyn is not the aunt of Noah. The aunt of Noah is called Robyn Smith. So I'll clear that up. We got Joyce Scott. Hi, Warlight Raph. Anything that comes out in this documentary, if they do a proper one and not exaggerated, hopefully things might come to light. I think it's going to be difficult to get that positive outcome just because of all the people involved in the case and who could be interviewed. One day, excellent video, Warlike Ref. You covered a lot in this one. Appreciate that. Hopefully this video too is almost as hard-hitting. Gary, Netflix, Road to Nowhere, my opinion, fair enough. Safia, if the case was solved already, I would be more optimistic about it, but I think it will give the people responsible more of a platform for more lies. So like an opportunity to have a voice, but not always for the right reason. Michelle, another great breakdown. Thank you. Appreciate that, Michelle. Shout out to her. Safia, outstanding video. I forgot to do the whisper. I guess it's not too late. Yeah, so we got Safia Moffat. There we go. Moving on. What's that name? From Heaven. I think that's how you say it. Well done, Ref. It's nice to see an objective, non-biased analysis, so refreshing and commendable. Appreciate that, Heaven. And that's a good username, the way it's like written out. Victor says, very interesting video. So tough to be here about the 7-year-old's death, the boating accident in 2020. There's a lot of animosity towards Jan Fiorillo, Justin Roy and Robbie Taylor, Brooke Bounce-Carter and Hardy Boys. I've learned not to fight with them, just sit back and listen. I've never seen so much in fighting on a case. I don't see this case being solved. I did at first. Well, Victor, if you've never seen fighting before in a case, this is your first time and you think this is bad, don't worry, Victor. If you were present during the Dylan Rounds case, you'd be ripping your eyes out, okay? Safia Moffat, a lot of strong personalities here who sometimes disagree, it's normal. The true crime community, it doesn't matter what case it is, it will attract strong personalities. And furthermore, if I may just add, it attracts a range of people with criminal background and criminal history, which is kind of ironic, isn't it? And some can be dangerous as well. Victor responds, thanks for sticking up for me, but man, they're only looking at one side. Who is Jam and Justin? Jam. Victor. Justin was Noah's wrestling coach. And okay. Justin does respond, so we'll get to that in a second. I'm learning a lot as a spectator as well. I can see just by my post interesting information as well. I can see the clear disinformation campaign happening against the real victim, Noah. I see some of the fake accounts, including ones that are members on Warlike Ref's channel, are trying to butter people up. At least from what I'm aware of, I wasn't aware that there were fake accounts on my channel as members. I mean, you can have a default profile with a real or alternative username for anonymity or for your own uniqueness online. I don't mean to say it's completely fake. It becomes fake when a person tries to be someone else what they're not. Kind of like impersonation, that is fake. When someone acts really nice but actually they're quite nasty, fake. And that can apply to people with better usernames or certain profile pictures. It varies at the end of the day. I'll tell you something, Jam Sandwich. Is that your name? Yeah. When it came to K-Love or K-Love, which is a male with some dodgy facial hair around his mouth, appearing to be in a car with a dodgy camera angle and piss-poor photography skills, they were a little informant who just happened to be a member on my channel who then ran to their little daddy master, whatever you want to call it, in also known as Intelligent People Hate Me, by passing on and saying, Warlike Raf, yeah, he's crazy. Have you seen his latest post? What is he doing? And as for that other account, that person of a opposite gender, out of respect for privacy, but that person over there who Warlike Raf's interacting with, no, it's the same account, it's the same person. He's talking to himself, he's pretending to be the opposite gender because, to get some attention or to make it seem like that he's wanted or something. Yes, I saw that. And that was by a person that showed their face in their profile picture, had an alternative username, was a member of my channel, and that's how they acted. The second individual was Myriam from Paris. They've shown their true colours as well with time. And when it came to the odd post here and there, members only, because they were still members on my channel at the time, they could see it and then relay it on to, Intelligent People Hate Me. So, not that I'm too strict, but technically speaking, Jam, a couple of rats, previously members on my channel, and even people in the past as well, wouldn't surprise me in the Dylan Rounds case, that people have passed on or leaked content, material, discussions, which are behind technically a paywall, and they've leaked it out for free. That's very naughty, isn't it? See, I will come across a handful of default profiles with time, and some of them are absolute knobs in what they say. But then I've come across a greater proportion of default profiles. What I mean by that is, it's just a basic profile picture. It's like default when you set up your YouTube channel or account. You don't change the profile. It's the profile as in the first letter of your username. That's why it's default. And default channels tend to not really have any content or none or not much. So it's not as an insult, it's just a valid observation. It's kind of like an empty account channel used to create and set up in order to be able to communicate and comment on videos and like and have a playlist. It's all normal, it all makes sense. But the majority of default profiles that I've come across have been a lot more positive. So don't mean to say that they're fake. It's just that they don't want to put everything out there, the personal information. Kind of simple as. I mean, it's like when it comes to me. Okay, I show my face, I show my voice, but as for my username, it's called Warlike Wrath. Oh my God, does that mean that I'm fake? Oh my God. Let's move on now. Jam says, Jam is me, but I think you meant Jan for your real own Justin, yes? Savia, I would stick up for you anytime, but did you notice who that is? That's the saddest part, is they're listening to the wrong people whilst Noah isn't alive anymore to tell his side. I think there'll be justice eventually. Well said. And then this is where some key individuals coming in. Justin Roy. My son wrestled and played football with Noah. We only got to know him the last few years. He was a great kid with a full life in front of him. The social hosting party caused his death, in my opinion, and definitely foul play involved. The autopsy report was very eye-opening and sad, in my opinion, but thank you for being care. Brooke Bounds Carter responds to Justin. Funny Justin knew about the party at the time and watched it on Snapchat, yet is damning it now. But I didn't see him or any of the other parents, such as Alicia, stopping it, or getting any kids from the party they were at. So basically, I think the reality is, if Noah hadn't died, then there wouldn't be any issue now, and no one would be having a go at the social hosting laws being broken. The only time where people start complaining about the social hosting laws, and before and beyond in the future to protect other lives, is when something bad has happened in the moment, which then impacts them in some way. So if a stranger was at that party and it wasn't Noah, and that stranger died, would certain named individuals be pushing a petition for the social hosting laws to be changed, or for justice to be served? No, but a different set of people out there could, if it had been the victim's family or victims of the friends, however you word it. Does that make sense? So I'm thinking that if Noah didn't die, but they all still drunk alcohol, and the side-by-side rollover still happened, and Noah did injure his nose, but nothing else happened, and if certain people did see that footage, they'll be thinking, oh, reckless, drinking, maybe we shouldn't be doing that, but you know what, we're not going to push for the social hosting laws, we're not going to do a petition, because no one died. Still reckless, still alcohol shouldn't be served or given to underage people, but because nothing bad happened, we'll turn a blind eye. That's not being negative, that's just being kind of honest in a way that if it doesn't impact you, if it didn't really lead to anything bad, does it really matter when it happens other times with other people? And I know others could get the backs up and say, that's not the point. The principle is, you shouldn't be allowing this, shouldn't be lenient. Change is needed, because what about the next time? What about in the future when something else happens or someone else is impacted? If I can add on with that, if I've got any more opinions, then I'll do so. But it's like, if you had Justin Roy or if you had Alicia that saw certain party footage at the time, they might have been thinking, or would they have been thinking underage drinking? Or at least just feeling, you know what, no one's dead, so it's not an issue. But then once the news gets out afterwards, you find out, oh, someone did die, and you start tracing back and thinking, what was the main problem? And then the blame or the points issued out as to who's responsible. I think it would have been a completely different outcome and a completely different perspective if Noah didn't die. And I know people could say, well, duh, I don't mean it like that as for the investigational case. I just mean the overall attitude towards social hosting rules and laws. Justin says, it wasn't my house nor my party. There were several parents that knew about it as well. But look at you, more gaslighting and deflecting. And yes, we did see bits of the party from the Snapchat that all seemed to get deleted for some reason. Why would that be? So, what I'd be interested to know is, whatever Justin Roy saw as for the Snapchat post, the same ones that got deleted later, what were the contents of the deleted Snapchat post? How significant were they? Because if you have certain party footage and snippets, what we've already seen, like the whipped cream being licked up, the slapping, bits and bobs like that, and even Isaac in the background holding a gun, nothing too telling, depending how you interpret it, but still documented, recorded, and not deleted. What real content was deleted and hasn't been retrieved since? Surely that has to be much more serious and damning for it to be deleted when other stuff wasn't. Deleting it, why? I wonder. If Justin can expand, if possible, that'd be good. Also, since you are here, Brooke, why don't you explain how the social hosting party caused Noah's death? He was allowed to drink, party, ride, ATV with weapons on a property, and it was an open invitation. Please explain this. That social hosting party caused Noah's death. Are you going to deny that? Brooke says in response, why didn't you stop the party? So we're doing like the blame game responsibility. We'll just pass it on to someone else and question them. Also, no. Social hosting party did not cause Noah's death. Someone on the highway caused Noah's death. What a hit and run. Oh, there we go. Noah brought his own alcohol. The girls didn't force him to drink, ride the ATV. They damn sure didn't have the gun. Avery Combs didn't send out any invites, but keep trying. I'm not deflecting anything. Simple question. You knew the party was happening. Why didn't you stop it? So if Avery Combs didn't send out any invites, did she make any social media post announcing that they were going to have a party anyway? Because Caden Pressey states that that's what did happen. It heated up Sunday night when things and posts were made online about, coming on down and partying. So, what's going on there? Safia says to Justin, and look who shows up, of course, to deflect and gaslight. Justin, I understand fully well what you're describing from Brooke because she's done it to me as well, using another account under an alias. Who is that other account? What name is that? Be interesting to know. Victor. What's shaken Brooke? Lol. I don't agree Noah just died on the highway, but they were all just having a party like most teens do at that age. Noah was old enough, he brought alcohol. Do we have proof that Noah brought alcohol? Do we have proof that alcohol was distributed by a certain someone? In between that, Caden Pressey did say that either on the Friday or Saturday, depending which interview you listen to, the Partners in True Crime public one or the private one with police, that Caden was with Avery and some of his girls, I guess Logan and Carter, at Minimart or some store buying alcohol. But how much? It's just a little reference I remember Caden referencing as a witness. How much that linked back to that alcohol being served to all the others depends how much was bought, or if it was just bought for herself and the odd other person. I wonder. Anyway. Victor says, my friends partied the same way, except no guns. My buddies dated girls that were 15, 16 when they were 19. I laugh how some people act so moral. I don't know if you ever heard of the Aiden Fucci case. These kids, 13, 14, the parents let boyfriend sleep over. Crazy. Has there been many highway deaths in that area? To be honest, I think when it comes to different age ranges and how it varies, a bit of a dodgy subject because at times there can be double standards depending on if the roles are reversed. So we'll leave that as it is for now. We got Chandler, shout out to them for the little super chat, super sticker, much appreciated. We've got Glenn as well. Jennifer catching up. Okay. Oh, get off. Wi-Fi. You know what, Carl? We're going to do something on the spot, never seen before. Well, I don't think it has. Carl says, I just drove 5 days across the country. Moved my daughter from, whatever that means, South Carolina. Flying Sacramento now. Wi-Fi sucks. Do you know what? I'm going to fix your Wi-Fi right now, Carl. Make sure you got your hands on the steering wheel or your Wi-Fi box. I've got extensive experience with fixing people's Wi-Fis. Sharon will know all about that. I have been promoted since. I worked from the top. No, I worked from the bottom to the top, or did I start from the top to the bottom? Doesn't matter, man. I'll find out someday. Where is the button? There we go. Carl, they're coming on in a virtual healing session towards your dodgy Wi-Fi. Fix immediately. I don't know how many times I'm supposed to press it, if there's a limit or not. I think there is normally a limit in the chat. There you go. Credit to Warlight Raf. Fixed. No questions, but a lot of answers. There we go. Carl says, I have to catch up. Oh, don't worry, your Wi-Fi's fine. Kaylor says, I also had to catch up. You do that. Sunny, excellent. Appreciate that. Victor, when partners in true crime asked Jack about the polygraph, why didn't they ask him what the questions were? I would have, yeah, okay, the questions regarding the polygraph. They might have not got anything out, but it wouldn't have been a problem to ask. But then again, partners in true crime could have asked other questions to do with other situations, and they didn't, such as with Cade and Pressy, when Caden said, I don't want to talk about Friday, but in the private interview, Caden did say, well, actually, I was there Friday. Would have been good if partners in true crime in the public one followed up on Caden by saying, why don't you want to talk about Friday? And then maybe you can't do that morally, or because you've got building a rapport with the guest you've got on your show. So I get that, but still. And then other questions where in the public one, Caden didn't make reference to the argument on Saturday, didn't really make reference to the side-by-side either, but in the private interview, things were said. But then, once again, at the end of the day, whilst you could say, well, it was lacking with partners in true crime, well, it was made up for it the month before in the private interview where we heard a lot more, didn't we? And Caden saw a bit more as well, which he didn't mention in the public interview, but maybe for good reason, because he's not allowed to say it publicly, or at the time felt couldn't. So even if partners in true crime did ask questions, maybe Caden would have said, no, I can't answer that, can't say this. And you never know, partners in true crime, because they do edit little clips out, as you've seen yourself, little jump cuts, especially with Caden's interview. They might have just edited it out anyway, and that's why they didn't ask the questions. That's another possibility. Safia, they didn't do a very good job in the interview, in my opinion. That was a great opportunity, and I really feel that Cindy was too easy on Jack. She should have asked more specific questions. Victor, yeah, I don't know, some legal reasons, or afraid Jack wouldn't answer, but really soft interview. I don't believe in polygraph test myself, but was curious what he was asked. See, you could argue and say that partners in true crime, not critical, but questioning more after the interview and during the reaction to it alongside Ashley Chadwick, the cousin, and Robyn Smith, the aunt to Noah Presgrove. But something tells me, in a way, maybe partners in true crime were acting in a certain way, treating Jack like kids' gloves or something, where you don't want to scare the person off, you don't want to force them away. If they're a bit of an emotional individual, or they can get easily upset, kind of like roughly quoted from the conversation on Snapchat between Caden and Jack that time in the past, that maybe the wrong questions were asked, that Jack could have declined the interview or terminated it, and then you wouldn't get any more answers. So sometimes you just got to act a certain way around people, even if it means limiting what you would say or do normally. You get what I'm saying? Junie, yes, drunk boating is illegal. Well, there we go. The links here are generational, excessive and chronic alcohol use. I've seen this a million times. Some are lucky, some are not. Okay. Documentaries are good money, like all else. It's always about the money. Brooke says, if money is made, we will absolutely donate every penny back to things involving Noah. What does that exactly mean? Rebecca says, what a joke you all are. It's actually embarrassing to read any of your group post. It's actually crazy and baffling to me that you weren't in the country and yet you wonder who's going to play you. You are a clown, Brooke. Wait, hold on. Let me just reword that again. To me, that you weren't in the country and yet you are wondering who's going to play you. What, play you as in the character in a documentary or Netflix series? If that's what Rebecca is referring to my knowledge, Brooke never said that. It was actually Stevie Howard that was saying, I wonder who could play me based on my attitude and how I'm like. Who could replicate me, I wonder? And maybe a name was dropped as an example. I don't remember Brooke saying it, but I do remember Stevie Howard. Anyway, Rebecca says, you are a clown, Brooke. I hope you all do this Netflix documentary because the entire world will see how evil and pathetic y'all are. Y'all are. Get a clue, darling. Sugar plum honey bunch. You do know that isn't going to be about a brothel, right? Eh? Why are we talking about a brothel? Maybe I'm missing something. Brooke says, if it were, we know you would be the star. I never said I was going to be part of it. I said I helped make phone calls. Don't move along, pumpkin. It'd be funny if someone ever said to me, if you don't like it, move along. And I'm thinking, bitch, I'm the channel owner. That's just something random. Rebecca, oh no, I want to stay. I've heard so much about you, Brooke. Pooh? Brookie Pooh. Yeah, sure. Do you get around, huh? Why do we keep having a cow? Do I have to keep doing... Oh my God. Is Rebecca doing these emojis, trying to force Warlight Raft to do these animal sounds? So we've got a cow. I live to see your absurd post and the most absurd lies to protect your BF, I guess that means best friend, and all the others. I can't wait till you all do a Netflix documentary. The poor kids, it's so hard being us, living with everyone talking about them, boo-hoo. At least they're able to have a life for now anyway. Noah didn't get to grow up. You must realise what a joke you are, and everyone talks so much crap about you. Now the whole world will see you all for what you truly are. Woohoo. I can't wait. BJ Brooke. What does BJ Brooke mean? Well, I can give a demonstration later. Anyway. Stephen Foster, how do you make a Netflix film when it's not even solved? Guess I'm missing something because there is still too many blank spots for me. So yeah, a documentary can be made to a varying degree on this case, but it could be limited and it might either tell a generic story or a certain narrative which misses out key details along the way, which isn't great, is it? Normally, it's better to do a documentary or reflecting, looking back on the history of a case, a situation, an event, when it's like in the future. So like you're looking back, enough time's passed by, it's either been resolved or enough rich data has been collected. Now you know what to work with, but this is still ongoing. Yes, it's gone on long enough already, over a year, but there's still a lot of grey areas, unanswered questions. How would you even do a documentary about it? They'll probably just tell the story. Oh, once upon a time, Noah was here, he came on down, then he left, and then he returned back afterwards, and then this little timestamp, that little timestamp, and then eventually walked away, never seen again, and then later found on the side of the highway. You know, like a really piss poor version, but to be honest, they managed it with the Dylan Rounds case, and that was early on as well. I think that was within the same year as when the case was going on. So it happened even quicker than the Noah Presgrove one. Says a lot, doesn't it? But they managed. Was missing certain details. Unfortunate. But in that case, not that they were missing details or they didn't include details because they were missing in the first place. No, the details were there. It just weren't included in the documentary. I think that was just down to timing, but a bit of an excuse. Mark says, the post. Noah's missing with a female smiling. Jasmine Milan, that one at 3:41 Monday morning. I still find that inexplicable. Can someone be smart enough to pass the nursing exams but still be some sort of mafioso shot caller amongst friends? Just a thought. Well, I'm not going to talk on behalf of this case or people involved, but I strongly feel that at times when it comes to the health field, health profession, whether that be towards animals, veterinaries, or towards humans as a whole, oral, dentist, anything. There can be a handful of people out there in those roles and jobs who could well be psychopaths or narcissists or have an attitude issue. Killers, well, who knows? That's just based on my experience as well and observations. I'm not saying everyone is, but I've seen it at times. I can imagine what I've just said there will trigger someone, but oh well. Julie, I don't believe she is a nurse, but a nurse aide. Well, I just read it as a caring assistant at some point. The test is very different from a nurse, much easier. Safia, it's a 2-month course to become a CNA, and I hate that photo also. I just could not wrap my head around that pic and the evil smile to this day. Me neither. Evil exists in this world, and good people don't understand the cruelty involved because we would never think to do such things. These people that were at the party were an evil group. Cruelty comes naturally to them, and they'll say and do anything to cover their ass. Still, it shows ability to complete courses. If she wasn't smiling in the pic, we probably wouldn't think much of it. Nothing of value is easy, right? It takes a lot of things to be in place, from having transportation to studying and passing exams. You have to show up and suit up every day. Like when I got my bachelor's degree, yes, I understand what it takes. Yes, Safia Moffat got a bachelor's degree. I got a degree as well. What did I get a degree in? Graduating from the Betty Haywood's Bad Boy Academy in the 2022 Dylan Brown's case. Farming, corn, Betty Haywood, corn star. What the hell's going on, man? I don't even know. You look back to my previous videos for context. It's just very random, okay. Lindy, just like the wrestling child's mother said in comments, something needs to be done about the party house because Noah's death was not the first death at the house. What the hell is that about? Safia, agree. They should also search the property, not just the house. Brooke responds, well, that's a lie. Lindy, why would this person lie? And Brooke says, Noah didn't die on the property, and there hasn't been another death on that property either. Okay. What else do we have? Right, this is where it gets interesting. Robyn dreams in colour. Will it let me click on the profile? As you see here, joined 7 years ago. Robyn Smith. Profile picture, I guess, is of Robyn at a younger age. 7 years ago, you couldn't really say it's truly a fake account because it's not just been set up recently. It's been pre-existing in the past. I'm still cautious just in case, but if Robyn wants to reconfirm or state something, set the record straight, feel free to do so. But Robyn Smith said, according to Brooke Bounce-Carter, the Netflix documentary is about how social media has ruined their lives, not about Noah. It's about them. And whilst, yes, you could have like some coverage about it from their point of view, shouldn't that come after? Shouldn't the Noah Presgrove documentary or a press conference or a press release comes first? Because that's what's most important at hand. Even by the opposition that would say they care about the case, that's more important than their own issues, supposedly. But what? They're putting their situation above Noah's? I said, this is like being passed about, not directly from the horse's mouth, so we've got to be careful at least. But let's just see if there's any key responses. Lisa, I sure hope it's not about how it's ruined the partygoer's life. It's all about them, and poor Noah lost his life because it's their fault. Noah is gonna for providing him alcohol. Safia, oh poor them. It was just a shit show at the party. Sounds problematic to an extent. Are you the aunt of Noah Presgrove? I just wanted to confirm it didn't get a response just yet. Justin says, yet Noah lost his life because of that social hosting party. Now they want to play the victim. Narcissistic and vile. In my opinion, Noah is the only victim here. Brooke responds, when did I say that was what it was all about? Right, Brooke responding to Robyn Smith. So supposedly this is the real Robyn Smith and Brooke is directly responding. When did I say that what it was all about? Noah is the centre of it. Will it show what's happened to them? Yes. I don't understand, either y'all want help or you don't. Can't scream we aren't doing anything when in reality we dang sure are. So from the looks of it, Brooke and Robyn Smith aren't quite seeing eye to eye with one another. There's a bit of friction building. And yet Brooke was the one to say, well, look at what the family has said about not thinking it's a murder. Oh, we're on the same wavelength. Well, here, clearly not. It's not exactly going smooth, is it? Justin says to Brooke, because you're trying to play the victim like y'all have been trying to do this whole time. Shows how vile you are. Noah is the only victim here. That social hosting party causes death. Do you not agree with this? In fact, there have been several social hosting parties at that house, yet nothing ever happens. What connections are going on here? Question. Brooke, keep trying, doll. You're upset because you're going to be exposed for the fraud you are. It's 100% focused on Noah, the documentary. The other is just exposing how evil y'all have truly been. But Justin, if y'all haven't lied about anything, no one should be upset. Y'all should be so happy and it'll get massive exposure. You've been screaming from the rooftops, we aren't doing enough. Not sure how this isn't doing anything. Right. So how it's been worded by Brooke is, it's going to be mainly focused on Noah Presgrove, the case, but it also ties in line with what, you know, the friends, the party goers, and maybe family have endured along the way, being questioned, being accused, possibly being harassed, attacked, property damage, things like that. Right. Shown a more of a fuller perspective. But why is there a disconnect with Noah Presgrove's family? They seem to be on the outside of it. Brooke can say, well, look at what we're doing, look at what we're providing and kind of assisting along the way with this documentary. We are doing stuff, we are showing support and care. But shouldn't it start off with the family first? Or shouldn't the family of Noah be pushing for the documentary and not the opposition, if you want to word it like that? It just feels like there's a bit of a disconnect in a way. Well, I don't want it to be misinterpreted, but if someone's pushing for a documentary and it's the opposition, in which some people may think the opposition is responsible, then who's competing or battling back with their own documentary? Or is that the one by Partners in True Crime on the sideline previous? I don't know. Safia, thank you for standing up for Noah. We truly appreciate it, Justin. I don't think Brooke knows what a mistake she's made showing up here. This is not Facebook, and the people here are not easily fooled or bullied. I think the other mistake that some people could make with time, and I don't mean this situation, I'm talking in general, whereas people can bicker and go on at it on Facebook and it can become a bit of a mess, people start losing control here. Dr. Raff will have to step on in with his 12-inch rubber glove, which I don't even have at this moment, but I'll find a way to get it, man. I'll have to get the kitty cat flapper whip out and all kinds of other tools. So people start acting naughty behaviour. It's actually probably good timing because it's getting to Christmas time. Santa's naughty list. What I'd like to know, so transform then into some other personality. Oops, gone down under. Anyway, what I'd like to know is how many people are on Santa's naughty list? Moving on. Elizabeth Espinoza, you're brilliant, Ref. It's an honour to listen to you present. Love your approach and your flow. You are definitely making an impact in Noah's case. Blessings. Appreciate that. For kind words. Big shout out to Elizabeth. Good individual. This person, user, excellent post. The whole Netflix thing is a surprise. I wish Nancy Grace or Dateline would do some coverage on the case. Who knows? We'll see. The whole case is getting very complicated. A lot of toxic people involved. Evil is sad it only gets worse day by day. I don't know if it will ever be solved. Pop, thanks a lot in this video. Who'd have thought there'd be so much bitchy crap on Facebook? Is it leaking over? Now we've got some points by Justin Roy once again. Exactly, the timestamp in my video. Great point, Ref. Look at all these other social hosting events that have led up to Noah's death. All this could have been prevented. Boating accident, alcohol involved, party March 2023, where a man died in an ATV accident. Is that Lucio? Alcohol involved. Noah's death, alcohol involved. When will it stop? Ellie needs to step up and reinvestigate all these horrible incidents. Brooke, sure wasn't a problem that night as you knew about the party and watched it on Snapchat. Funny, you're completely against it now. The reason why people could be against it now and not then is because at the time of viewing it, they weren't anticipating that Noah was going to end up dead. But as soon as they did realise, they thought, oh, well, okay, things are possibly to blame. Maybe I summarised it a bit better then than what I did earlier. Justin says in response, it wasn't my house nor my party. There were several parents that knew about it. Is this being reposted or something? But gaslighting, Snapchat, yeah. Yeah, it's like repeated, isn't it? Robbie Taylor says to Justin, the wasn't my house nor my party excuse doesn't fly. Did you know there was underage drinking happening at that party? You stated you watched happening on Snapchat. The only question is, why didn't you care enough then to stop it? If you watched a child being abducted on the street, would you report it, or would you say, not my kid, not my problem, other people see it happening too? You're admitting you should have called, doesn't negate AC's liability. I mean, if you want to be like really strict, you might as well say every single human that knew about the party going on and underage drinking are all naughty individuals. If you wanted to group everyone together, but I don't know what good would come from that. Justin, crazy how they show up now, yet never show up for justice for Noah or help find the truth. These social hosting events have caused the death several times now. Wonder why Oklahoma made a law against it, yet don't enforce it. Weird how the same people are around. More gaslighting from the cover-up crew. Wonder how many deaths it's going to take for law to get enforced. And I think last comment. It wasn't my house nor my party. There were several parents that knew about it, but look at you more. Also, since you're here, why don't you explain? Guess the social hosting party caused Noah's death. Are you going to deny it? Guess she blocked me or deleted her post 2 hours ago. Well, it looks like I've seen everything here. Maybe Justin has been blocked by Brooke. I don't know, but you've seen all my comments, so maybe you can see it from the point of view which you can't see. Now, what I do want to mention, with the comments, what we saw today, people could be thinking, oh no, is it going to turn into a Facebook 2.0? Is this going to be the downfall? No, take in consideration, I've experienced things like this in the past in the Dylan Rounds case, and look where we are now, cleansed, under control. We come out of it from the other end, the other hole or wherever. It works out in the end. But what I will say is, as a positive, even if it may seem a bit toxic or negative at times with conversations that are going on, or maybe some insults and attacks being made like what you may have seen today, or I don't know, whatever, it's still a lot more focused than the Dylan Rounds case, where it completely went off subject there about external side drama. This conflict or any drama is all to do within the case and people's involvement, who's to blame game. As it might not do much good for the case, it's still talking about Noah, keywords here and there, which is keeping up with that engagement. So my videos, I don't know if they really do benefit or not, but sometimes that level of engagement, you know, when people hit the like button, the share button and leave comments, the more of that happens, the higher the activity levels, YouTube will detect that and then push the video out there. So through people's pettiness, drama, conflicts and bad stuff going on and people defending themselves, it might seem like a jungle or a zoo down below, down under, but the video itself is maybe being pushed out there by YouTube, because YouTube sees it as high activity, so it must be doing well, it's generating interest, then it can generate more traction. More people come to the video, primarily for the video itself, which is under control. So no matter how chaotic it gets in the live chat or in the comment section, these pre-recorded videos aren't impacted by it. And that's what I mean by fully under control. In the Dylan Rounds case, you had a lot of people doing live streams, call-ins, panels and shows. Live, inviting guest viewers on in the moment, where people can take control, talk over one another and have a go, and it just all goes to shit. That can't happen here because it's pre-recorded. People that are watching live are watching a live pre-recording of a video, but being aired for the very first time publicly. So you get that live reaction, but you don't have like a live takeover of the show itself. So people can't do shit there. That's why it's under control, and it will help spread awareness anyway. Now, I did say I was going to give a demonstration, and in a way, it's actually kind of important because you think of language and wording. I just don't think it's accurate enough on a sideline thing. So for anyone that's watching right now, if you want to hear more about Noah Presgrove or you joined late to this live premiere, be sure to rewind back to the beginning. But like when it comes to nicknames, references, what does it actually mean? A person called Brooke Bounds Carter, BJ Brooke. What does that mean? BJ, the initials for who? What name is BJ? Unless it's not the initials of a person's name, but more so a certain act, a certain activity, and it's used to kind of be applied to Brooke and what she gets up to. I don't know. I've not seen any evidence. Don't need to. Whatever. Is this kind of unrelated to the Noah Presgrove case? Let me make that very clear. But in terms of the named individuals caught up in certain nicknames and references, it kind of ties with Noah Presgrove as for who we've heard of before. So BJ is not initials of a person's name, it's more so an activity. And to muddle the words up so it doesn't sound too inappropriate, basically it's a job that needs doing and it involves blowing. You know what the problem is? Does the activity truly involve blowing or something else? See, when you got a banana like this, it would have been better to use an ice lolly, because what do you do with an ice lolly? You put it in your mouth, lick, suck, pull out, put back in, or go really fast, because you're consuming kind of like food or liquid or a bit of both, because it's kind of food, an ice lolly, but at the same time, if it melts down, it just gets juicy and it's liquid, so it's like a drink. It's like a hybrid. But, you know, if you keep an ice lolly in your mouth, it's going to melt very quick because of the warmth within. If you suck on it and your mouth closes inwards like that, it's going to speed up the process. If you pull it out and then put it back in, you're going to get that friction, the traction, maybe with the upper teeth, the lower teeth, and the walls of your mouth. So you're breaking it down quicker. But if you had another object, whether it be this or something kind of representing it, and you put it in your mouth like that, I didn't even gag. Do I have experience? No. Do I need it? No. All under control here. It's just that my mouth is big enough to fit this in because I do a lot of talking. So I guess a lot of oral exercises. And because of being corrupt by the second through the 50 shades, oh goodness, I need blessing. You know what I need right now? I need to be struck with judgment from peace in Christ. The whip needs to be shined on top of me, the bag of scented nuts in the face. There we go. Apologies if anyone does get disturbed. Counselling can be issued. But yeah, you put the banana in. I'm not going to replicate it again because I don't need multiple bananas shoved in my mouth. But from I do that, I can't do it. In, out, shake it all about, probably not to that extent. But when does that activity actually involve blowing? You're not blowing, you're sucking. Blowing is like, if something is on fire. If you had a sausage in your hand and you're about to eat it, but it's a bit too hot, you're going to blow on the sausage to cool it down and then put it in your mouth and consume it. Blowing on it, blowing steam off, blowing cobwebs off of something. But if it's in your mouth like that, you're not doing that, are you? You're kind of closing your mouth and you're gripping onto it, and then it's moving in and out. An ice lolly when consuming, or as in reference to a dodgy activity, as in the reference to this nickname that's being issued towards Brooke, well then, that involves not consuming. You're not biting it, you're not swallowing it, you're not eating it. You're stimulating something to get a reaction, whatever, okay? Fucking hell, this is getting a bit dodgy right now. But you get the idea. It's not blowing, it's sucking. It should be SJ, not BJ. So this is what I mean. Even when it comes to dodgy activities, people can't get the language and wording correct. Oh my God, what the hell's going on? Well, there we go. That's another lesson learned today. So hopefully people enjoyed that. not me sticking a banana in my mouth, but the actual case of Noah Presgrove and the switches and changes with the outlook on the cause of death with Noah, and even what Robyn Smith has had to say. Who knows where things are going to go next, but if opinions have a change and there's been a big U-turn with time, it can always happen again and again and again, just like how when things become fractured, it becomes a bit unstable with time. And with what we've just seen recently with Brooke responding to Robyn saying, well, I never told you that, or I never exactly said that, and we're actually trying to help, and what more do you want us to do, or do you not want us to do it? What the hell? There's a breakdown in communication there, and it seems to be going backwards. That's not looking good, is it? So, let's see what happens next. There are video ideas and additional stuff that needs to be added along the way. We'll get to that eventually, but you've just got to take time, got to lock in. But I'm glad the way it's going. The case might not be going too far, but getting an understanding of it, getting there, being late to this case and hearing so many stories, you could say that this case is more convoluted than the Idaho 4 case. And that says a lot, doesn't it? At least in my opinion. But being able to get a grip of this is a positive, because if I can, and I can get a better understanding of this, it means in the future when I come across other cases just as complex, or maybe just a little bit less complex, I'll get a better understanding of it. Maybe quicker, maybe faster, harder, deeper. And no, I'm not talking about the SJ activity. I'm talking about the bloody case, okay? So, I think it's under control for now. We'll see what happens with a documentary, whether it will conflict with Partners in True Crime, standalone, separate stuff. Who knows, maybe one will come out first and then the other one will come out afterwards, and it will tell different sides of the story. It could lead to more conflict, but it is where it is. But just be on the lookout for other videos. And if you are interested in the Kenny Veach case, as I said, I did an earlier video today, top right corner where the eye symbol is. If you click up there, you'll be able to find it and the full playlist to my coverage on this case at hand. That's it for now. I'll see you next time. Goodbye and good night.